Jonathan Martin says he still wants to play in the NFL despite claiming harassment in the Miami Dolphins locker room. He wasn't saying much of anything else about meeting with the NFL counsel investigating his bullying claim on Friday. That meeting lasted about 7 hours. At the center of his claims is Richie Incognito. Last week, he admitted to leaving Martin a voicemail in April that included a racial slur, threats to kill his teammate, and threats to slap Martin's mother. During an exclusive interview with Fox last week, Incognito said he's not a racist, and the vulgar language he left on Martin's cell phone, he says, was left as part of locker room culture. Joining us live now in the newsroom is Fox 26 legal analyst Chris Tritico, Fox 26 news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
So is it bullying or is it locker room antics?
You know, that's a difficult question that the NFL is trying to answer right now. I grew up playing high school football, and stuff like that went on in the locker room every day. And if you didn't like it, you just hit the guy right in the nose, and you got in a fight, and you ended up getting swats. But it was over at the end of that. Martin is detailing, though, some stuff that we wouldn't put up with anywhere else. If that type of stuff happened in the workplace, you would discipline or fire somebody. If it happens at a school, the student who said it gets suspended or maybe even expelled. And so the question becomes, Mustafa Tamiz, should the NFL put up with that? And understanding that the front office, the Miami front office, told Richie Incognito to toughen Martin up.
Well, the situation is a little different when you look at NFL. You know, these guys are 350 pounds. They're built like tanks.
Can bench press a Buick.
They can bench press a Buick. So when it comes out of there, it just doesn't feel right. But at the same time, it is their work environment. These are human beings. They like most of us, they put on their pants one leg at a time. They go to work. And if this kind of behavior is happening in the locker room, that eventually you are going to find people that are going to be offended by it. And so NFL has to function like all other organizations, and the team has to function like all other companies.
What about that, Jackie Bally? Do you think that the NFL has a duty and an obligation to stop this in the locker room?
Well, first of all, I'm not dismissing what Incognito said, and isn't it ironic that's his name?
I know.
He's anything but that. But you know, Martin didn't even try to resolve this internally. He just walked up and quit. And this is, I mean, typical of what jocks and football players say and do to each other. And he needs to just man up and be a man. I mean, when I read it, I was like, what a wimp. I mean, just, what is the problem here? You know, so he should either try to talk to Incognito directly, but he didn't even go internally to some of the supervisors, people who are involved with the team. He just left and then made it an external problem.
Right. So
he didn't give them an opportunity to try to resolve it.
And if this comes out at the end of this investigation that they both get to stay in the NFL, they both get to play, where does Martin go? Where's he going to play?
Well, look. If he gone to his supervisors, if he had gone to the coach, if there's a culture of that, and if there's a sense that he should man up and be a big boy and not take this, then he really doesn't have any place to go. And many workers nowadays feel the exact same way, that they can't go to their boss, because if they went to their boss would look at them and go, you know, you should man up. And I don't think it's appropriate.
All right, let me go to Domily. She's in the newsroom monitoring our social media accounts.
Yeah, you know, and Teresa Corona on Facebook says, NFL, grow up. She says, I have first graders smarter than these $1 million players. And, okay, Jackie Bally, Domily Keith on Facebook says, really? Man up. Bullying should not be tolerated, not among kids, teenagers, men, women, or aliens. Bullying should not be tolerated. Had he gone to his coach, he would have just been traded as a problem player and then maybe even blackballed out of the NFL.
But one of the things that, especially with Incognito, he was voted like one of the meanest football players, and this is very typical of the level of activity that he's always been doing. So I don't think that people realize they're saying, oh, he's being a bully. This is a problem man who's been doing a lot of things to begin with. So if this one particular instance we're calling him a bully because of this one particular instance, they should have resolved that a long time ago. And this is, again, typical of the locker room talk that they talk about all the time with football players. So if we're going to penalize Incognito for this one particular instance, Princeton, we're going to have to take out a lot of football players.
Well, let's take just a second to talk about the front office, because I think that's where this investigation ends. The front office told Incognito, you toughen Martin up, and they really gave him a license to bully this guy. Isn't that really where this investigation ends up?
Well, from the legal standpoint, yeah. If your employer is telling another employee to toughen, someone up, yeah, then there's a culture of that. But Donnelly, she beats me up all the time.
You ought to see it.
You should see her off camera. It's Chris
bad.
and her. This is a tough place for me to be most mornings.
I had to buy better makeup just to cover the black eye.
But Mustafa and Chris Jackie's so cute. I think it has
That's just what you see on the air. We'll be back in a few minutes with another really, really good story.
All right, we're looking forward to it. I want to join this discussion. We'll talk a little bit as Caitlin gives us a forecast.